episode. Um, I haven't done an episode in a couple weeks, so I wanted to just go over some stuff. I been kind of monitoring some stuff, and I know I talked about it in the previous episode or two. But when it comes to Magic grading cards or graded Magic the Gathering collectors, I'm starting to notice some stuff, guys. A couple weeks ago, May 28th to be exact, I looked at our Facebook group for graded MTG, and on that date, there was 2,561 people on there that buy, sell, trade. Um, and today, 3 weeks later, I wanted to go 3 weeks on it. 21 days later, there's 2,656. So in 21 days, they gained 95 members. That's insane to me. That's over 4.5 people a day. Now, some of those people might just be there to look. They find it interesting. They, dream of having some of those cards that are shown in that group. And others, I think, are in there and they're interested and they're kind of phasing out from raw cards to graded cards. So, why am I talking about this? Well, it goes back to the point I made in one of my first episodes about the market and the values. Um, One other thing before I get into that, have you guys noticed that on eBay, um, I've noticed that there hasn't been many cards being listed that are graded. Um, some of them are getting reissued, but I'm not seeing a lot of new cards going on there. And what I mean by new cards, I don't mean newer set cards. I mean, there's not many people selling old cards. It used to be you could go on there in a day, you would see 5 or 6 old Magic cards that were graded and ready for sale. Now, I feel that the market is drying up. I feel that the cards are disappearing really quick when they get listed on eBay. I think people are paying some crazy amounts of money. Um, you look at some of the bids and the bidding wars. Now, I understand there's some BS stuff going on with some of those. Um, about a year ago, that whole library of Alexandra, BGS 9.5, a couple people, well, a specific seller sold a couple of them, and those bids were going for $4, $5, $6,000. I don't know. Me personally, I think there's something going on there with that. But guys, still look at the bids on the cards that are going on right now. The prices aren't slowing down, like I told you. In fact, they're going up. With 4.5 people getting in this group every single day, there's more and more people that want these cards. There's just not enough cards out there for everyone to have. That's driving up the value. I know some of you guys that want to, play devil's advocate with me, if you would, are saying, well, there's still a lot of cards out there, a lot of raw cards that just haven't been graded. Okay, but at 4.5 people a day, even when those cards hit the market, they're going to dry up really quick. People are going to pay astronomical amounts of money for those cards. And, they're just going to get sucked up into other people's collections and whatnot. And the prices are just going to continue to go up. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go on and on and on and on and up forever and ever and ever. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I still have some people telling me that this is a bubble, and I disagree. I don't think it's a bubble. I don't have a degree in economics. I'm not a math major, but I can tell you just from common sense and looking at all this stuff, it's supply and demand. There's just not a lot of graded old vintage cards that are out there. And now you're starting to see those spikes up in certain cards. Some of them are from buyouts. Again, I don't even want to talk about the buyouts because those cards do level back down eventually. I'm talking about just cards that go up. Tabernacle shot up. Now it's coming back down, but it's still higher than it was prior to the spike. So even though they come back down, they're not dropping below where they were, from point A before we buy it, point B when we buy it, then it spikes, point C, it comes back down, it's still higher than point A. Does that make sense? Anyway. So again, the reason why I'm telling you all that is just, it's interesting to me. Just keep an eye on it, guys. Keep an eye on the cards that are coming out on eBay. Take a look how quickly they sell. Or the ones that aren't selling, I'll tell you why they're not selling. They're not selling because nobody in their right mind wants to pay X amount of money for some of these cards. Um, I'm seeing some crazy bids. I mean, cards that I'm not interested in, but I'm watching it because I own them and I'm curious to see what people are paying for them nowadays. And I see it at the very end. I mean, they shoot up or they just don't sell. So either people are paying high amounts of money to buy that specific card, or they're just overpriced. But nonetheless, um, telling you guys find anything, suck it up. I mean, I'm trying to buy as much as I possibly can. I'm buying, selling, and all sorts of stuff. In this next video I'm going to do right after this, I'm doing a little slideshow. Um, just because some of the guys in the group, some of the guys on YouTube, um, some of my personal friends want to see my collection, and rather than bringing it out and whatnot and laying it all out, I just rather take some pictures. In no way am I trying to be, an ass about it. I'm not trying to show off because my collection, I mean, there's guys, trust me, I've seen some nice collections. There's a man in the group, I'm not going to mention his name. He's one of the administrators in the group, and me and him have talked on and off, and I can't believe his collection. In my opinion, his collection is worth a couple $1,000,000. It's just truly remarkable. Just remarkable to look at. It gives you a good feeling, and he actually inspires me to continue collecting and buying and selling these cards. Um, just from a personal standpoint, let alone, I mean, the money that people, even myself, is making buying and flipping and selling some of these cards. It's just crazy. But anyway, so I don't want to sound like an ass, but I am going to do a little video to show what my collection looks like. I'll post that in another YouTube video. But in the meantime, guys, I mean, this isn't going to be a long, drawn-out video. I just want to tell you guys that in 3 weeks, I've seen 95 members join the graded group, and I think that's really remarkable. I noticed a couple months ago I did the same study, just mentally, and it was almost 100 people in a 3-week period. I mean, it's almost mirrored. That's crazy. I mean, that's a lot of people getting into this. A lot of people are getting interested in MTG. Others are getting more interested from raw cards to graded cards. Like I said, guys, now's the time. Anyway, guys, ever have any questions, anything, give me a holler. Let me know, okay? I'll talk to you guys later.